I am live. Woohoo! I'm live. Hey, you beautiful soul. I just wanted to do this quick video because it's something that I've been thinking about a lot. And also, I'm going to be doing it as part of a 4-day masterclass. So I thought I would share it with you because I think it will be helpful. And what I want to talk about are 3 ways that you can, excuse me, looking down at my notes, but I really want to talk to you about what you can do now to share your story of trauma recovery and healing safely. Now, we want to do this safely. We don't want it to be a drama for you, and we don't want it to be a drama for anybody else in your audience. And there are absolutely things that we can do to make sure that when we are sharing our story of trauma recovery and healing in a safe way. So I'm going to take you through a process that I go through with my clients. Now, we use this process to identify a chapter, a story for a chapter in a book, which are focused around trauma. They're called Triumph Over Trauma, which is a book series. So I go through this process with them step by step to help them to find the very best story it is that they can share in the book without it being too upsetting for other people, but also so they are kept safe and protected as well. You know, I speak to an awful lot of women online who aren't showing up in their full glory. They are hiding the true essence of who they are. They're hiding behind written content. They're hiding behind books. They're hiding behind posts, courses, but they're not necessarily showing up and talking about their own life experiences. Now, why this is important in the transformational space, of course, because if you are running a coaching and a mentoring business that is focused in on helping people to resolve particular issues that you have been through yourself, people are going to want to know that you walk your talk, that you know what you're talking about, that you can put your money where your mouth is. People like to see the whites of your eyes. They like to know you're human, you make mistakes, and storytelling through video is absolutely, I think personally, the number one way to do it. So lots of women are hiding. They're not showing up in their full glory. And there's lots of reasons why that happens. They feel judged. They feel ashamed. They are not sure what story it is that they want to share. They're worried about haters. They're worried about criticism. They're worried about upsetting other people. Hence the reason why I take people through this process, because what it does is it gets rid of all of that. It takes all of that out of the way so you don't have to worry about it. What we don't want, what I don't want for women, especially because I'm a women's empowerment coach, is I don't want women hiding in the sidelines, playing small, watching other people take the limelight when they are more than capable of doing it for themselves. You know, my trauma was so bad that I lost my voice. I was too frightened to speak. I wouldn't speak out. I didn't have an opinion about anything. There's no way you would have got me live on video. I found it absolutely impossible even to talk on a stage. I would have panic attacks, anxiety, which led to crippling depression. So I know exactly what it is like to have lost your voice, to have shrank down so small that it's very hard for you to share anything. So if I can get over, let's rephrase this. If I can learn to navigate and deal with the trauma it is that I've been through to now show up and shine and to lead the way and to help other women to share their story, so can you. It's absolutely within your control. It's just a work in progress. And I think sometimes there's an education gap between what it is that you want to do, or even in terms of your recovery and healing, and not quite being able to get there because there's an education gap. There's something that is missing that you haven't learned yet that's going to help you to move forward to where you want to be. It's really important that you share your story with your audience, or parts of your story, the parts that you want to share with your audience, because, as I said, connection, authenticity, inspiration, motivational. When people start to see themselves in your message, in your story, then the magic starts to happen. Then people start to put their hands up to work with you. You get more inquiries, you get more comments on your posts. This is generally how it goes once you hit that sweet spot. So I want to help you to hit that sweet spot. So I'm going to take you through just three very simple steps that you can do now. You can take half an hour out and you can just sit down and you can write this out, and you will have nailed a story that you can share with your audience, which is about an event in your life that was difficult to manage, how you overcome it, and what is going on now. Before I do that, who am I? Why are you listening to me? Firstly, if you like the content, please do subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. Lets more people see the content, as you know. If you think the content is valuable, please give me a thumbs up, and remember to turn on that notification bell, if only I could say it, notification bell, so you will have up and coming videos. So my channel is focused on living life trauma-free even, not three. So my videos are focused around that subject, and a lot of them are going to be focused around book writing and how you can recover and heal. Okay, so the magic happens when you share your story. But as I said, I know what it is like when you feel overwhelmed, not sure what to focus in on. You just get absolutely stuck because you don't know what you're doing. You can move into a space of, I'm not good enough. Do people really want to hear about this stuff? No one's interested. I don't want to come across as a victim. What if it puts people off? There is a whole list of things that you can say to yourself to talk yourself out of sharing your story with your audience. So how do we do it then? How do you find the right story to share with your audience that captivates them, that inspires them, and that motivates them, and ultimately shows them hope and a way that they can create change in their own lives? So this exercise has 3 steps. I work through it with my clients, so I absolutely know it works. They write chapters for our books, co-authored books, Triumph Over Trauma. And each story is unique and individual. So step 1, you got pen and paper, notepad, you want to be writing this down. I will put marks in the video, but you want to write this down now as you're with me. So step 1, think about 3 stories that you can potentially share with your audience. Not just any old story, but a story where you have experienced a difficult time. If you don't want to focus on something that was traumatic for you, if you feel that that's too much at this time, focus in on a story where you had a difficult time, where something difficult happened to you and you overcame it. Just get 3 headings down. Don't go into any detail. You absolutely do not need to do that at this point, but just get those 3 headings down. 3 headings, that different stories that you would be happy to share of difficulties that you have been through and come out the other side. See, step 1, easy peasy. Step 2 is just as easy. So you've got your 3 headings. I want you to run through these questions and ask yourself these questions. And you can also think of other questions to ask yourself as well. These are just a set of questions that I use When I work with my clients, they're more fluid, they're more intuitive, in line with the person it is that I'm speaking to. But these questions I have picked for you, they will absolutely do the job. 3 headings. Okay, which story, which one is going to be the most helpful for people to learn about? So you want to have a little bit of context here. You want to think about your audience. Who is your audience? What do they need to know about you? So don't just pick something that is random. You want to pick the one that has context and the one you feel that is going to have the most meaning. So which story would be the most helpful for people to learn from? What is it you really want people to know? How will this story help others to heal? Are you really ready to share this story? So under each one, you want to think about, am I really ready to share this story? Have I really fully recovered and healed from this story? Am I over it? Do I have no emotional attachment to it? And it's likely that when you're going through them, there will be a bit of a grind. You'll feel there's a bit of resistance. You'll feel that there's something uncomfortable. If that happens, ditch that one. Don't question it, just ditch it, because it's not right for you to share. Another important question, can you share this story safely? So is it a story that involves other family members, other people? Are they going to be able to identify themselves? If that is the case, then it may not necessarily be safe for you to share that particular story. So dump it, just get rid of it. One of these stories is going to take the lead. Does your story have a clear beginning, a middle, and an end? And this is really important, and I'll tell you why in step 3. You also want to think about the energetic signature of the story. So every story has a unique energetic signature. Does it inspire hope? Is it motivational? Another story could be, how do people describe my story? I've forgotten. Oh, it'll come back to me in a second. Honest. Is the story honest? Is it, I'm trying to think of the word. It's really annoying of me. Harrowing, that was the word. Is it harrowing? What's the different energetic signature of each story? So you just want to pull out some key words for each story, because it may not be that you want to share a story that is harrowing. It may not necessarily inspire your audience. It might not be what they need to hear. So again, each time we ask ourselves these questions, you're starting to discover which one is going to be the most appropriate for you to share with your audience. Okay, step 3. Actually, there should be 4 steps, but let's go with 3 because I've said 3. Step 3. So you've asked yourself all these questions around the 3 stories it is that you have picked out to share with your audience. That is going to help them to connect on a much deeper emotional level with you. Awesome. You're going to have an idea now of which one it is that you want to share. So step 3 is to journal out that story. Spend some time journaling it out, getting it all out, getting the emotion of it, getting the twists and the turns out of it, the goodness of it, the badness of it, get everything down that is relevant to that particular story. And do this in a safe space. Don't do it on the train. Don't do it at a restaurant. Do this at home in a safe space where you feel comfortable, where you have an element of containment. As who knows what's going to come up. You know, you might be writing something and you might suddenly go, oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, journaling it out in a safe space, get everything down. And then what you want to do is you want to take some sticky notes and you want to write on your sticky notes 3 headings. Just 3 headings, I seem to have a thing about threes today. 3 headings: beginning, middle, end. So the beginning of your story, the middle of your story, and the end of your story. And then under each heading, under each heading, you want to go back through your story, and you just want to first sticky note, okay, what absolutely needs to be in the beginning of my story? What is it? How do I set the scene? What do I want people to know about this event, about this story? So sticky note 1, and then what else do I need them to know? Sticky note 2. What else do I need them to know? Sticky note 3. Now, I wouldn't go down any more than 5 sticky notes in each section because you'll have way too much content. In fact, I would say you just want a couple of themes for each one. Writing a chapter in a book is slightly different, but if you're wanting to go live online and share your story via video, then I would stick to just a couple of headings. So you are not giving away, you're not overwhelming people with content. That's what I want to say. You're not overwhelming people with content. So beginning, middle, end story, sticky notes underneath. There you have a beautiful story that you can share with your audience. Now, if you're sharing this as a business owner, a couple of other things, pro tips I want to add in there. One is introduce yourself. Think of where you're going to introduce yourself. Let people know who it is you are and what it is you do. And yes, you do need to do that, sorry. And if you want to have a call to action on the end of that story, maybe you're doing a challenge, maybe you're running a course, whatever the call to action is that fits the end of that story, pop that in on the end. So super easy, not complicated, super easy. What becomes super complicated is our own level of resistance to sharing our story, our own internal messaging system that is saying, don't do it. It's not a good idea. Whereas it probably is a very good idea. And it's part of your trauma recovery and healing journey. I ask myself how recovered people are if they're not able to share the stories of what it is that they have been through. What will happen is when you start to journal the story out, is that will naturally start to process the story, release the energetic connection, and help you to heal on a much deeper and another layer. It's just another layer of healing for you. What else have I got here? Yeah, think about what needs to be in the middle, think about what needs to be in the end. You want to take your listeners on a very clear journey. You want to help them to connect the dots of your story. You want to make sure that you only have the essentials in your story. So if you've got lots of sticky notes all over the place, you want to cut them back and think about what is essential? What do I really need them to know? What is just waffle? What is window dressing? How can I get to the point? Make sure that you have the essential elements of your story. You don't want to go into details. Oh yeah, that's another more important one. You don't want to go into the details and the nitty-gritty of it, obviously, because that is going to be traumatic for you and the people listening to you. You will just want to give an overview flavor, so people can get that nice connection with you. This will give enough information for your audience to know what it is that you are talking about and for your story to be relatable. And ultimately, this is why you're sharing your story, is for it to be relatable. So people can see themselves in your story. So they know that you know what it is that you're talking about. You're not hiding behind content. You are out there sharing your message, and you're letting other people know that what's been possible for you is also possible for them. Okay, so that was just a walkthrough of 3 ways that you can write your story. A very snappy, easy to do process that you can use to share a story of trauma, healing, and recovery safely. So if you do this, if you do go live on YouTube, if you go live on Facebook, please do tag me in. I would love to see your stories. They would be, I'm sure, exceptional, will be amazing. But let me know. Got any questions? Pop them below in the chat box. I'd be more than happy to answer them for you. If you want me to clarify anything, just let me know. And I am going to be running a challenge, and that is to help female authors to write a chapter in a book. So the challenge is to help them to find their story and to have that manuscript ready by the end of the 4 days. How awesome is that? I'll pop the link below. But remember, subscribe, like, and share, please. You'd be doing me a massive favour. Whatever you're doing today, gorgeous, have an absolutely awesome day. And I will find out how to end my video.